Go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Comedy Night at the Cowbell, brought to you by Rated M Talk Entertainment. Please keep the chatter down to a minimum. If you can, put your phones on silent. Now everyone prepare for a night of fun and laughter, and I will bring up your host, Mike Gray.
Thank you. Oh, God damn it. Thank you. That was fucking graceful. How's it going, Cowbell? Got a great night tonight. I got some fantastic news at work. I'm not going to say where I work, but I will say that it rhymes with Schmemory Watermouse. And they just got the word that they're going to close in like 2 years. And they made this announcement. The owner or the president was like, with a heavy heart, brings me great pain to tell you that we're going to be closed by February 2018. I couldn't contain my excitement. I walked around the rest of the day with the biggest schadenfreude boner I've ever had. I was sitting there and everyone was looking at the president, so I was like, good, they're distracted. I gotta tuck this thing in, fucking cross my legs. It was the worst. Never had that. I hate work though. Like I've never fit into any job I've ever had. Ever. I mean, like, I used to work with these guys. They know what I'm talking about, right? Don't fit in anywhere. This long-haired dude grew up in Central Maine, listens to metal. When I was growing up in Central Maine, up in Corinna, I don't know if you guys know where that is. But I'd like walk down the road, someone would always, every single time, drive up next to me. Cut your hair, fag! Like, God damn it. That's my history teacher of all people yelling at me. I can't have that shit, so I moved down here to the big city. And, I don't know, I've always, any job I've ever had, I don't fit in. Part of it is how I look, because I look like I front a Megadeth cover band, let's be honest. Which I do. But a lot of it's because of my dark sense of humor, you know? Like there's always Jim and Bob around the water cooler. We know these guys. Like, oh, Jim! Hey, Jim, what's going on, buddy? Hey, what's up? Yeah. Oh, hey, Bob. Yeah, I kicked your ass in fantasy football, didn't I? Come here, buddy. Oh. I'm trying to fit in. So I'm like, yeah, Bob. You know, last time I worked with you, I wanted to eviscerate you with a box cutter, right, buddy? Up top, big guy. Come on, Bob, up top. Don't. Bob, I swear to God, if you leave me hanging, I will cut you down in front of your family. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow at 9, buddy. Yeah, for some reason, I find myself in HR looking like an asshole for trying to fit in. That's not fair to me. There's other people at work, too. The grass is always greener to them. They always have this weird optimism. Like, you know, I could be down the street doing the same job, making $1 an hour more. You know, I could be doing something better than that. I could be doing porn. How do you know porn isn't just like any other job and it just sucks after orientation? How do you know that? You know, you go like 2 weeks and you're like, oh man, this is awesome. I'm getting laid all the time and I'm getting paid to do it. And then your director comes up to you and he goes, all right, you're shooting a scene with Janice today. So, really, dude, Janice? Fucking Janice, really? You know what she does between takes? All she does is talk about her goddamn cats. All right? I've had it up to here with cat stories from that woman. Coming the next day, like, hey, buddy, hey, what's going on? Yeah, you're shooting a gay scene today, so, but I'm not even gay. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, you know, well, Bill called out, so you got to cover for him. I don't know what to say. You know, we think you're qualified enough for the position, and you know, we like to work as a team here at Sultry Sunset Productions. So why don't you just be a team player? This is bullshit. Hey, that's a quarter in the swear jar. All right, you know the rules. If I appear to be a little on edge because I booked a flight with United Airlines, I'm still reeling about that. It's been like 3 weeks, and I'm not looking forward to this at all. If you don't know what happened, this guy was on a plane, and they offered everyone to, like, they offered to pay back their ticket, and you stay the night in Chicago, And no one said that they were going to volunteer for it. So then they said, okay, well then we're going to have to pick someone. So they started picking someone. They picked this who was a Vietnamese doctor. Put up a fight when they were dragging him out, and he smashed his head off of a armrest, and he was all bloody. And well, someone filmed it, and that's somehow not the weirdest thing about this. Some guy's like getting his ass beat by security, and then someone going, "Oh man, wow, look at this! You guys getting this? I'm getting this." Like, if that were me, I'd be like, dude, I'll stay another night in Chicago. He can have my seat. It's fine. It's fine. And I have a feeling that guy is home right now. The guy who filmed it. He's like, hey, Mom, did you hear about that flight? The guy got dragged down. Oh, my God, yes, that was horrible. He was so bloody. Like, they really beat him up pretty bad, didn't they? Yeah, they used my footage. I don't know if he's caught that, but I filmed that. That's horrible. Why are you? Hey, Mom! I am a star. God damn it! That guy's famous now. We got a lot of great comics tonight. One of them we're going to bring up right now. I've worked with him quite a bit. He's worked with B-Rad quite. God damn it. He's worked with B-Rad quite a bit. He's a very funny guy. Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Joe Ellis. How you doing, Cowbell? You guys having a good time? You gonna have some laughs? Are you easily offended? I hope not, because B-Rad cut the show, so you never know what the hell's going to come out of anyone's mouth. I actually was a part of a short-lived web series called My Friend the Caveman. I was the caveman. Which basically meant that I went inside my room and played video games and did pretty much nothing else for like 14 years. And my friends were like, we need to get Joe outside or he's going to kill himself. So they got my ass up and they took me on and had me experience things. Like, I had sushi for the first time, I had my first burger, I had my first steak. You're all looking at me like I'm fucking insane. It's okay. I know for all of you that's completely fucking normal, but for me it's like, oh shit, you want me to eat what? Oh fuck. And they took me out, and I'd always got my hair cut by either my mother or my girlfriend at the time, who's now my ex. And he was like, well, dude, we're going to go out and get you a real fucking haircut. Like, we're going to get you a barber and get you a real style. So they took me to this place in town, and the barber walks up to me. He's like, so I hear the only people that ever cut your hair is your mom and your girlfriend. I was like, yeah. All right, well, now it's time for your boyfriend to cut your hair. Come on. Woo, this just got weird real fucking quick. Best haircut I ever had, though. So, of course, at one point in time, they were shaving me, and he had the straight razor to my neck. And the person filming was like, dude, you look so calm right now. I'm like, calm? Are you fucking kidding me? There's a razor blade to my neck. I'm trying not to move. I don't want to die. I enjoy life. And it's great, though, because of the web series, I actually have gotten recognized a little bit. I've had people come to me and go, oh my God, I can't believe it's you! Jared from Subway! What the fuck, dude? No, that wasn't me. That, and if it was, I need to get back on the treadmill. I know I look like a pregnant with diabetes. It's okay. I look like Bobby Hill if he grew up. It's horrible. It's a good thing I'm married, because this is doing nothing for me. Absolutely nothing at all. I get hit on at the bars because they smell like weed and they want to smoke. In case you're wondering what weed smell is, hey, how you doing? That's me. Weed, the magical drug. The more you smoke it, the more you... What the fuck was I talking about? I'm also a father of 2 kids. Anyone else here? Yeah, I have full custody of my children. Woo! Yes, that's right. Sometimes the guy can win. Hey, welcome. Have a seat. We're having a good time. And
What's really good about having full custody of the kids is, of course, you have to be responsible for getting everything at Christmas, but then February comes. And for my parents in the crowd, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Tax season. That big fat tax return check. I call it the adult Christmas, because it's when I get what I fucking want. Instead of just the stupid candy and cards at Christmas time, I get what I want. I went out and I got myself a new phone, I got myself a new car, I got myself a big 4K TV and a PlayStation 4 Pro to go with it. It's fucking sweet! One thing about 4K TVs, and seriously, take this seriously, I'm not kidding. Don't watch porn on them. Don't do it! It's a bad idea! And I'll tell you why. You don't need to see the girls in such high resolution that you can see their emotional scarring. No. I don't need to know what kind of clown mask her dad used to wear. I also play a lot of video games, in case you couldn't tell by the Mortal Kombat t-shirt. Which is oddly enough my text ringtone. And my phone ringtone is Super Mario, so you know that I'm not faking it. I play video games like I get paid for it, and I don't. Anybody here who doesn't play video games, who thinks they're a complete waste of time? Nobody? I love you. You are my people. I've actually run across a couple people that haven't played video games. They think it's a complete waste. It's like, are you stupid? Do you not understand the wonders of video games? It's all the wonderful things of both a book and a movie, and you get to control everything. It's fucking fantastic. You get to go on the adventure. You get to be the hero. You get to save the world. Until reality sets in, and you hear your kid from the other room go, "Dad, come wipe my ass." Then you realize you're just a 30-year-old stoned loser sitting in front of your big screen, now you're going to wipe a 6-year-old's ass. Fuck. When reality sets in. Oh, God. How am I doing on time, B-Rad? I'm good? Good. I like being good. Like I said, I'm married too. Not to my baby mom, she's a slut. I'm actually married to a wonderful woman. She's a preschool teacher, really good with my kids. People often ask me, where'd you meet her? Did you meet her at a bar? Did you meet her at a show? I met her on Tinder. Yeah, all right. I know it's not where you're supposed to meet your future wife, but we both swiped right, so it worked out. And people are like, well, where was your first date? Did you go to dinner? Did you go to movies? We went to my apartment with Netflix and a ball. It is Tinder. I'm not going to shortchange anybody. That's exactly what fucking happened. And if you're wondering how to get a wife on Tinder, basically, she comes over, you start fucking, you keep fucking, and then eventually she just moves her shit in, and that's what happens. And then you got a wife. I highly recommend it. I have had some horror stories on Tinder before, though. One in particular really scared the shit out of me. She was really good at cropping photos. I see some of you are like, I know what you mean. Yeah, she was really good at cropping photos because I thought she was a bigger girl, which I don't mind a bigger girl. I mean, look at me. But I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. So I thought she was a bigger platinum hair blonde, so I go pick her up, and then she walks outside, and I realize that she's at least topped out at 350. Oh, boy. But I'm a gentleman. I still go out on the date. She gets into the car, making it tilt. I wish I was making that part up. And then I get a good look at her, and I realize she's not a platinum blonde. She's got white hair and white eyelashes and red eyes. She's an albino. Tinder set me up with the albino rhino. God damn it, Tinder. That ain't right. And then I went on a date with her because I'm the gentleman. A mistake I really wish I had made. And while we were talking, I found she has a kid, which means somebody poached the albino rhino. Whew. And then I come to find out the reason why her and baby daddy aren't still together is because he was cheating on her with horses. And I don't mean like somebody in a horse outfit. I mean like in the barn with Seabiscuit. Oh boy. Mr. Ed would be ashamed. And all I have to think about is, well, he had sex with the horse, and I'm assuming condoms weren't involved because it's a horse. And then he went home and had sex with you, and you have a kid, so that means condoms weren't involved, which means
And check please, out of here. Hell no. Oh, hell no. I am not putting up with that. Oh, and she still sends a friend request to this day. No. I know there's a block button, but I kind of get a sick enjoyment out of it. Fucked up. Anyways, so to wrap it up, I remember one time I was on a show down in New Hampshire. Actually, it was another friend of mine performing, and it was me and B-Rad here, and my wife, and this redneck guy, and another guy who looks like Spring Break Jesus. And as we were leaving the show, we realized that there was like this sex shop right next to where we parked, and we were like, you know what? Fuck it, let's go in. So we went inside, and I don't know if you guys have been to sex shops lately, ma'am. Yeah. You can get a dent out of a car with a dildo. Did you know that? Anyways, but when you go in, they're different now, aren't they? They're no longer DVDs everywhere because you can just get porn on your phone like it's nobody's business. It's a lot of toys and products and goos and potions and lotions. And one thing that really caught my attention was the gimp masks. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in the golden age of the gimp mask. If you want to get into gimp masks, now's the time. You can get it for any variety. You can get your standard issue gimp masks with the zippers and shit. You can get like a Playboy Buddy gimp mask. You can get like a pink gimp mask where you live those Animal Farm fantasies you got going on. But the one that really caught my attention that made me go, huh? Jason Voorhees. That's right. The villain from Friday the 13th. Gimp mask. Who is this for? I want to know, who's this for? I mean, could you imagine, ladies, you're sitting there on your bed and you got like a tied-off t-shirt and short shorts and the knee-high socks and the flash. I thought about this too much. And you're just sitting there and then your man walks in. He's completely naked with just that mask on. He's got his machete out. Suck. Fun on Crystal Lake. Or maybe that's fun on crystal meth. I'm not quite sure on that one yet. Thank you guys for laughing. I had a great time. I'm going to give it up to your host, Frank Gray. Have a good night, everyone. Hey, let's hear it for Joe. Joe's wife is not the only person he met on Tinder. I also met Joe on Tinder. Yes. I'm going to keep things moving. Our next comic coming to the stage. He's very, very funny. He was a finalist in the Couch competition last summer. Jed Bloom! Woo!
I'm going to try to be loud for my guys back there. I am a middle school teacher and I'm married, so I do stand-up comedy so that maybe somebody will listen to me. So please listen to me. I got things to say. It's good being a middle school teacher. I never have to worry about how I look. You might come to work in a new shirt and nobody might mention it, but I work with 13-year-old girls, so they give me immediate feedback on how I look every minute of the day. You might get a new haircut. You might go through the whole day and nobody will mention it. If I get a new haircut, there is 4 Snapchats, 3 Instagrams, and a blog post before 4th period. None of them are good. But I think being a middle school teacher is good. It's really prepared me for Trump's America. I read a lot of dystopian young adult fiction for my job, so I'm ready. I'm prepared. I recently we read the short story The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. You guys, yeah, nice. You guys might remember that one from 7th grade. It's the one where the whole town gets together in the town square and they draw a name out of a box and then they just stone the lady to death. They throw rocks at her until she's dead, which is just like Tuesdays now. But I reread it with my 7th graders and I forgot something from when I read it when I was in 7th grade. The guy who runs the lottery, his name is Mark Summers. Which is just like, what an amazing rags to riches story. The host of the lottery went on to host Family Double Dare on Nickelodeon. Such a good career move, Mark Summers. So I just recently did a road trip from Florida and back with my 2 kids and my wife, my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old. My wife. We drove to Florida and back. We stayed with friends and family along the way, both ways up. All kinds of people. We stayed with Republicans and Democrats, rich people and poor people, black people, white people, Indian people. And no matter who we stayed with, the conversation came back to the same thing, the same problem that we all have. The Tupperware drawer. It's a mess. It's a disorganized mess. And like, I don't know what to do. Like, there's a couple options, right? Like you could put the tops and the bottoms together and put them in the Tupperware drawer. But there's too much surface area. They don't all fit. Exactly. Or there's a little bit of water in there, and you put the top bottle back to it, it gets smelly. So it doesn't work. So maybe the other thing, when you put all the bottoms together and all the tops in one other Tupperware, but that's like libertarianism. Like, it sounds good in theory, but I've never seen it actually work. Like, it's a free-for-all, you know, everybody's doing their own thing, and the bottoms, the tops get shoved in the back of the drawer, you can't close the drawer. It's a shit show. The other option that people try is they forgo the drawer altogether and they just put it all in a cabinet. You just throw all the Tupperware in a cabinet, and you kind of hope when you need something, it's just all willy-nilly. You just throw it in there, you hope when you need something, you just get what you need. That's what we've done with Congress for the last 20 years. It's not working. It's not working. All right. I get a reputation around Portland as being like the dad comedian. Most of the other comedians around Portland they're young, they're cool, they're in their 20s, they're really hip, they talk about doing drugs and getting laid and voting for Jill Stein. Oh, they're so cool. Like the opposite of my friends I grew up with. The guys I grew up with, they're all in their late 30s. They're all conservative white dudes. They like 3 things. They like football, they like hunting, and they like pretending they didn't vote for Donald Trump. Dude, I didn't vote for Donald Trump, but I don't like how all you leftists think just because I'm white and conservative and maybe I voted for Trump that I'm a racist. Dude, did somebody call you a racist? That's not okay. Well, nobody called me a racist. But it's like these little implications, you know, it's like these little things that they say that make me feel like they think maybe I'm a racist, like these little things. Oh, that sounds like microaggressions. Do you need a safe space? A trigger warning, maybe? In fact, this next joke, I imply that maybe some old white people are racist. So that's a trigger warning for those in the crowd that this may apply to. A couple days after the election, my wife, who was a beautiful Indian woman, went to Rennie's in downtown Saco, Maine. And when she walked through the doors, a couple old white dudes kind of got in her space, they catcalled her, and they said, "What are you doing here?" And I'm not saying they're racist, but they're definitely idiots. Because there's only one reason anybody goes to Rennie's. For adventure. My wife's got a challenging life. You know, she takes care of cancer patients. She takes care of our kids. She deals with my dumb ass. Like, sometimes she just needs to explore the card heart, you know? She needs to frolic through the Tupperware bins and old Christmas wreath. Sometimes she needs to climb that CD tower in the center of the store and find that $1.99 Barry White CD. I need adventure, you know? For me, my adventure, I'm more of a Shaw's man for my adventure. Shaw's is like a nightclub for me. I don't go there very often, but when I do, it's late night. Like 9:50 is like my Shaw's time. The other day, I got the kids to bed, I got the whole kitchen cleaned. I went to grab a beer out of the fridge, and I realized we had like this much milk left. And I was like, shit, I gotta go out. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, I get to go out. So I cracked the beer, I leash up the dog, and I head out to my local neighborhood Shaw's. You know, nothing such white privilege like walking through your neighborhood while you're drinking a beer. If I'm a black guy, the dog's a pit bull, and I'm like disturbing the peace. But since I look like this, it's a rescue dog in a nightcap. So I get to Shaw's, I get my Oakhurst, I get my Turkey Hill ice cream, and I'm moving my stuff up through the conveyor belt line, and I feel this presence behind me. And I look back, and there's these two dudes, giant dudes, 15 neck tattoos between the two of them. So I give them that look that skinny men have been giving big men forever, that like, yeah, you can kick my ass, but I'm going to live longer than you. And I want to see what they got, you know. You guys are probably thinking they got like organic carrots or something. They did not have organic carrots. Dudes had a pregnancy test and 2 Heath bars. I had a lot of questions. First of all, I was like, they still like Heath bars? Usually I'm so busy playing candy defense with my kids, I don't know if they even have in the candy aisle anymore. But then I was like, these dudes know they can't get each other pregnant, right? But I decided to fill them in on that biological fact. And then I was like, oh, maybe they're not having sex with each other. Maybe they're having sex with the same woman. And she like sent them on this mission to Shaw, the Heath Bar bonding mission. I don't know. My daughter's in kindergarten, she's learning to read, which is cool, except it's ruined my wife and I. We have this very secret and elaborate code to talk about things that we don't want her to know about. It's called spelling the words we don't want her to hear. It's very elaborate. But now she's learning to read, so it's kind of messed with it. The other day I was eating some of these things called inner peas from Trader Joe's, or like these crunchy pea things, and they kind of taste like pot, and I wanted to tell my wife that. And so I used our secret code, and my daughter goes, they taste like P-O, they taste like peyote? They taste like peyote? They taste like peyote? Is that a minute? Alright, cool. So that's our code. I like to read too. I'm a big reader. My reading habits have changed a lot though. Like 5 years ago, this adorable and amazing thing came into my life that really changed my reading habits. This thing. I used to read like a book a week, and now I read like 500 headlines a week. I start reading like 30 articles, and then I actually read like 5 or 6 articles. I think it's actually making me stupider. The other day I saw an article about prostate cancer, and both my grandfathers died of prostate cancer, so I really wanted to see what you can do to prevent prostate cancer. And it said 2 things. It said you should ejaculate a lot, and it said you should eat foods high in lycopene. So I sort of filed that nugget away. And then 3 days ago I was reading this article about bulletproof coffee. And this is coffee where you, instead of cream and sugar, you put in butter or coconut oil, and it's supposed to be really good for you. So I sort of filed that nugget away. And this morning I was making my coffee, and I had the coconut oil out, and then there was like a bowl of tomatoes on the counter, and then all of a sudden a Nicki Minaj song came on my Pandora list. Next thing you know, I'm masturbating into a tomato. So I don't think I'm gonna get prostate cancer, you guys. I got good. You guys have been great. I really appreciate it. I hope that was loud enough for you guys in the back.
Yeah, that was great. Now, Rennie's a main adventure. That is their slogan, right? It's kind of weird. What was adventure 200 years ago? War. Exploring the countryside, almost getting eaten by a bear. What is it now? Discount shoes. I'll bring up the next comic. This guy is the reason we're here right now. Gonna give it to B-Rad, ladies and gentlemen. B-Rad.
How are we doing, Cowbell? If you hear my voice, that means I swallowed a lot of cum before I came here. No, I swallowed Mother Nature's fucking cum. What about all this friggin' weather? Mother Nature really needs a tell Spring to stop hitting the fucking snooze button, right? Stop hitting that goddamn snooze button. Or I'm gonna go 50 Shades of Green on that woman. Get a bunch of friggin' whips out, friggin' green fucking whips, friggin' grass whips, that whip and swing. Come on, Spring, fucking get warm already. Get warm. Oh my God. Friggin'. Well, I'm a 32-year-old, works at Walmart. Yeah, I work at Walmart as a cashier. So I've had before customers come to my line, three girls that come to my line one time. Sir, what do you think that the girls bought coming to the line, going out, looking all hot? Well, you think they would probably buy condoms or alcohol for later, but no, they were buying gas X. Gas relief. That means the club will be popping that night. They'll be grinding up near the freaking the guy. Well, what's that noise? What's that vibration? Just keep going. Yeah, so the girls will grind up the guy's dicks and freaking fart them like a vibrator on their dicks all night. So yeah. My 32-year-old at work lives at my deceased grandmother's house. Yes, I live at my deceased. Now I'm the owner of the house. But so I still get caught masturbating a lot by her. I'm wondering what the other thing on the ass is all about too. That I can't explain that. But yeah, my dad gave me the sex talk one point when I was 12 years old. And his son, this is how I have sex with a girl. You stick it in the hole. I was like, all right. 2 years later, I had a chance to get lucky. And then I stuck in the girl's ear. Yeah. He said a hole, he didn't say specific. And I tried the belly button closer. Very closer. Yeah, but yeah, and then we were perverts back then in high school. We came up with the weirdest things. It's like, we didn't know what came out down in the girl's vagina, so what if milk comes out from the girl's vagina? Say, white girl be white milk, black girl be chocolate, Asian be soy or chocolate milk, whatever you prefer. I would probably break the strawberry milk once a month. Yeah. But yeah, but we just had Easter. Everyone, who likes Easter? Friggin', but what? That doesn't make sense. Easter bunny in one night, going around the world, pooping out freaking plastic eggs for Easter outcomes. That don't make fucking sense. Doesn't make sense for those caramel fucking eggs coming out of the fucking Easter bunny's vagina. Does not make sense. You got you got Easter freaking caramel in the freaking bunny? That freaking really didn't make sense. Didn't make no sense. Makes sense with Santa Claus, but with a bunny? There must be like millions of bunnies traveling around the world pooping out plastic eggs. Oh fuck. What else? Yeah. Halloween. Halloween's another favorite holiday of mine. I show up freaking, hey, what, you're not a costume. Yes, I am. I'm wearing dirty clothes. Yeah. That's my costume. You're laundry. I'm the laundry. What else here? But yeah, you all guys out here, who's out here, guys, trying to pick up some ladies tonight? Anybody here? Yeah, everybody's trying to pick up some ladies tonight. Always keep a spare pair of underwear with you. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I know they're pink. I like to go for the pink if you have a shit stain in your underwear and you have to get down to your underwear. You've got to have a spare set of underwear with you to change in before you're like, because they gotta be pink. Everybody loves pink. And oh man, everybody loves. But yeah, me and my friend, we picked up a girl at a club before, and we brought her back to our tent, our two-man tent. The girl wanted to be tag teamed by two guys. In a two-man tent. Me and another guy. Me and more like a 5-person in the tent. And one thing you don't want to do in a three-way is never ever touch a guy's hairy leg or the freaking three-way is fucking done. Thank you very much. I've been B-Rad. Bring it back home in my
Thank you, B-Rad. Thank you. B-Rad has had a threesome, but he's leaving out that it was with 2 other guys. But yeah, no, I'm gonna bring up the next comic, which is this guy this is the first time I've seen him, but goddamn, he has a nice beard. Matt Brown, ladies and gentlemen.
Give it up for big girls and 3 ways in a tent, y'all! Woo! Yeah! I like these Christmas lights you guys got up here. It's a nice aesthetic. Reminds me of Christmas morning. We're all here, enjoying each other's company, sharing the gift of comedy and laughter. And I have no idea where my dad is. I know where he is. It's fine. He's fucking some lady that's not my mom. Okay, I know where he is. If I sound weird, let's just go ahead and get it out of the way right now. I am from the South. Yeah, you guys know the South, where every day is Toyota-thon. I'm from a little town called New Orleans, Louisiana. Maybe you heard of it. Yeah, home of Bourbon Street, or as I like to call it, Disney World for garbage people. Is there one place in the world where you can disappoint your grandparents the fastest, okay? Bourbon Street is 100% populated by everyone you've ever seen get thrown out of a Chipotle, okay? The problem with Bourbon Street is that it dissolves your sense of consequences, right? Your inhibitions melt away, and you will do incredibly reckless things. You might get too drunk. You might sleep with a stranger. You might co-sign a loan for your stepdaughter. Just very bad thing. My goal is to get the table in the back over there with the sassy DMV clerks. They're having some after-dinner drinks. There's one guy listening to me. He's hoping to get his monthly tail tonight. He's like, I took out the recycling. My socks are clean. Now I want to get that booty girl. Anyway, okay, that's enough of So when I lived in New Orleans, I worked as a ghost tour guide in the French Quarter, which was a great job. I loved that job. I used to refer to the ghost tours as working at the ghost factory until somebody rightly pointed out that made it sound like I worked in a concentration camp, so I quit saying that. I always remember this one time. It was a great tour. I had this kid on my tour who was maybe about 8 or 9 years old, and he was just so into it. He wanted to be a paranormal investigator, and he was just so excited. He was just eating it up. And I leaned down to him at one point in the tour, and I go, "Hey, buddy, you better watch out, or we're going to make you a ghost." And he laughed, and I laughed, and his parents laughed, and it was a real magic moment. But then when I turned away, I was like, did I just threaten to murder a child? Oh my God. So I moved here to Maine in August, and I gotta say, for the most part, you guys have an amazing state. Give Maine a round of applause. Okay, good. I like that guy down at the bar who's very pro-Maine. Like, he was just waiting for the opportunity to celebrate this big lobster claw of a state. I really only have 2 complaints about Maine. One is, winter sucks. Okay, it's terrible. I don't have to tell you. But from what I understand, this was a pretty easy winter, which is how I know I'm not going to make it. I am going to die. Because every time I walk my dogs, I feel like I'm in that movie, The Revenant. I'm huddled inside of a horse corpse for warmth while my neighbor is barbecuing in a Speedo. My girlfriend actually likes the cold. She told me one time, she was like, "Baby, sometimes it gets so cold, you can't even tell that it's cold anymore." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's cold dying." When your body just gives up. My other complaint is at the old port in Portland. It smells like squid diarrhea. It smells like hot whale afterbirth, right? It smells like, I'll let you enjoy that one. Nice and dry. I like to paint word pictures. Comedy comes in threes, I got one more for you. It smells like if clams could be homeless. Right? It's awful, alright? And I've I've lived next to the Mississippi River for most of my life, so when I tell you a body of water stinks, you can take that to the bank, buddy, okay? All right? That's like Stephen Hawking telling somebody that they have a speech impediment, all right? I am the premier authority on whether or not something smells like shit. And one thing I have figured out pretty quickly in my brief time here is that you guys sure do love your Patriots football up here, don't you? Woo! Yeah! Woo! Settle down. It's easy to love a winner, okay? Try raising a problem child like the Saints for 5 decades, and then let's see how jazzed up you are. Okay? The Patriots are like the kid that got straight A's, went to medical school, and became a successful heart surgeon, and the Saints are like the 30-year-old teenager that lives in his mom's basement. You have to beg him to get a job at Circle K just so he'll start paying for his own weed. Like, I knew I was in New England whenever a drunk biker yelled at me for 39 consecutive minutes about how awesome Tom Brady is while I agreed with him. Woo! Tom Brady is awesome! He certainly seems to be. The Saints suck! Their record does not contradict that. I went to a Patriots game in 2012 with a kid in a wheelchair, and Tom Brady played so flawlessly that that kid walked out of Gillette Stadium. Sounds plausible, right? But my favorite thing was the sports radio call-in shows leading up to the Super Bowl, because I would hear these great calls like, oh, hi, Bob. First time, long time. Got a couple of quick questions for you. One, is Tom Brady the greatest quarterback of all time? Or is time merely an illusion? And my other question is, could Bill Belichick make a rock so heavy that he himself could not lift it? Okay, take your answers off the air. And that's the thing that kind of blows my mind about all this, is this obsession with Bill Belichick. Because we don't have that in New Orleans. Are you kidding me? Like, the other day, I saw a van that was literally covered bumper to bumper in Patriots decals, and they were all Bill Belichick. Like, it just blows my mind that you would admire a team so much that you admire the administration of that team as much as the players themselves. That's like if you love the Jackson 5 so much that you have a poster of Joe Jackson. That's a good one. That's a smart joke. Very smart. Very smart guy. You can tell by the glasses and the dumb hat. Anyway, so I was a little nervous about getting back into comedy, but my girlfriend, she's amazing. She offers me a little incentive. She told me that every time I work up the courage to perform stand-up comedy, that she will give me 1 million blowjobs, which will actually bring my grand total for just today to 2 million blowjobs. Because it turns out that doing the dishes in a blowjob-based economy is a pretty lucrative gig. But I do feel like my girlfriend is a little bit too liberal with her issuance of blowjob currency, because every time she wants something, the exchange rate is always the same. Oh, baby, if you do the dishes, I'll give you 1 million blowjobs. And I'm like, you can't keep printing them out, Mussolini! You know I'm never going to be able to cash all these in, right? Blowjob inflation is out of control! My blowjob premiums are through the roof! A loaf of bread costs 4 million blowjobs! This is unsustainable! I guess what I'm trying to say is, I've got like 8 billion blowjobs in the bank right now. Is there some way I can cash some of those in? Maybe you do the dishes? And she said, oh no, I am so sorry. We have a very strict no return policy on all blowjobs and blowjob-backed securities, so you might want to get cracking on that lasagna pan, mister. Another dumb stuff that I want to talk about. You
You guys seem like a cool crowd. You don't seem like you've been offended just yet. You want to hear some more dirty material? Ah, good. Marginal enthusiasm. That's just the amount that I need to perform this joke. So, in case you hadn't figured out, I said I was a tour guide. I do stand-up comedy. I've had some weird jobs in my life. But I think the weirdest job that I ever had was whenever I worked at one of those relics of antiquity you one day tell your grandkids about called the video rental store. Alright. Now, I actually worked at one of the rare birds that had a dirty room in the back. And I found myself restocking this room more often than not because I worked with a bunch of ladies and they didn't want to be back there, and understandably so. Because there were guys that for some reason thought that the same rules that applied on the outside of the curtain applied on the inside of the curtain as well. So they would stop me while I was restocking these movies and they'd be like, "Excuse me, young man, have you ever seen Cum-Filled Asshole Overload?" Holy shit. Have I ever? You want to talk about a cinematic tour de force? It's exactly like The Notebook, but with cum everywhere. But the thing about this movie that just kind of blew my mind was like, I had always been under the impression that pornographers had like a gentleman's agreement where they would only name their films like cheeky puns or parodies of the titles they were based on. You know, like Yank My Doodle, It's a Dandy. Or The Bi-Curious Case of Benjamin Butthole. Or my personal favorite, Bouncing the Check, in which check is spelled C-Z-E-C-H, because it's actually about Eastern European girls doing some pretty nasty stuff that has nothing to do with insufficient funds. Well, maybe they needed the money, but the point is that Cum-Filled Asshole Overload blew away these preconceptions, because my reaction was like, really, fellas? An overload? Must we overload it? I mean, arguably, this is a room full of mature adults we've all gathered here. Can't we all mutually agree to a reasonable amount of cum to put in this asshole? Am I going to let you on the elevator? No, because it's full and you don't understand load capacity, so take the stairs, pervert. How am I doing on time here, right? You're done. Oh, yes, I'm done. My name is Matt Brown. Here's your host, Mike Gray. Yeah, Matt Brown, everybody.
Yeah, the thing with the, what is it, cum ass filled, whatever, to the overload.
Cum-filled asshole overload.
Cum-filled ass. How many blowjobs does that cost? I don't know. You gotta back those blowjobs up with precious metals, otherwise it's just fiat currency of blowjobs. That's what it is. It's bad. Gonna bring up our next comic. She's very, very funny and from Boston. Please welcome Sami Anderson.
My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. Here's the thing about that song. I can't imagine anything else goes through a man's mind when he stumbles upon a glory hole. And that's a struggle for me, because it's not relatable. Have you ever seen one? Anyone here? Woo! Yeah? From which side? I like it. All right, cool. We'll talk. I have a lot of questions, so we'll talk later. If I walked into a bathroom, if I walked into this establishment's bathroom right now and I saw a glory hole in the stall, I would look down and be like, damn, they got a tampon sharing hole! That's sick! I'd be so happy. I think it's the greatest thing. And that's who I am, so that's my introduction. My name's Sami. I am from Boston. I live south of Boston, but I work in the city, right near South Station, so I take the train, which is an adventure every day. And people are crazy, but also, I don't know why I'm allowed to do that by myself. I don't know why I'm trusted to do that. I'm 24, which is like, I guess that's why. But I like to sleep a lot. And when you are on the commuter rail, so it's not the same as the subway, it's a little bit less like pee smelling. That's the only difference. So when you're on there, like, sometimes I fall asleep and it's like deep REM. Like, I'm done. I'm done until someone wakes me up. And other times I like doze off and I wake back up and it's like pretend it didn't happen. And this one time I was on the train and it was very packed and I was sitting on like a wall. So I was sitting here and there were people here and across from me. Everyone was looking. And I just, for the life of me, could not stay awake. And it was like a dad took his freshly birthed baby and put him on the couch and was like, man, just hold your head up for like 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes, just do it. And I'm just sitting on the train like knocking the lady next to me. Like, I like look at my phone like the text message made it happen. Like, oh, it's my dad. And then this other time, I was in like a different type of seat. So I like was like curled up in a ball. Like I was out. I was sleeping. And the train got to its destination. And everyone got off the train, and I was still sleeping because I was tired. And the conductor noticed that this happened, which I imagine happens often, and instead of being like, hey ma'am, we're done here, he slapped the train seat as hard as he could and he screamed, Hoboken! I believed him. 100% believed him. I looked up and I said, thank you, sir. And I got off the train, and as I was walking, he yelled, I'm just kidding. And I said, I know. And I was like, thank God I'm not in Hoboken. I don't know how to get home from Hoboken. I don't know how to get home from here, to be honest with you. It's quite a drive, but we'll figure it out. That's for future Sami to deal with. So I do work in the city, but before that, I worked in a pharmacy, which was very interesting. It was at CVS, and I went to CVS because I needed a job. And I said, hey, can I stock your candy? And they said, we don't have those hours. You want to do the drug thing? And I was like, if you're going to let me back there without chaplain, me sure. So I was a pharmacy tech. And the pharmacy, I don't know if you've frequented a pharmacy or been to a pharmacy, but they're fueled by the elderly because old people don't want to die. So they come in, and they come in often. And they're on like a schedule when their medicine comes, and a lot of times the people who come in don't do anything but come to get their medicine. So it's like a big adventure for the day. Like, it's a very exciting thing to come to CVS and use your coupons. And frankly, I'm very charming, so they like to come talk to me. So this lady came in this one time, and she was roughly like 86,000 years old, and she walked up to the counter, this huge smile on her face, like this was the Wednesday that like shit went down, that she got to leave the house. So she walked up, and we're talking back and forth, it was really sweet, and I told her a total, and she handed me her money and her CVS card, and she dropped everything. And I picked it up, and she said, I'm so sorry, sweetie, don't ever get old, it's not worth it. And I said, $10 is your change. Did you just tell me to kill myself? I'm fairly certain that's what happened. So I left that day. I left pretty frazzled. I was confused because she was still so happy. And I was like, why don't you? Do you want to do it together? I don't know. So I don't work there anymore, so we're not going to find out. So I went home, and because I'm an independent woman, I live with my parents. So I got to my house, flustered about, elderly suicide. I don't know. I was out of it. My dad could tell, and he was like, listen, he's a really spiritual guy. He was like, listen, let's like take a couple deep breaths, let's meditate on it. So we smoked a blunt, and he put on The Machinist with Jason Statham. And I love Jason Statham a lot. I think he's beautiful and perfect, and my dad knows that about me. So because my dad knows that about me, or any other like man I'm interested in, he just likes to point out the flaws because he thinks that it's gonna shy me away from like that, as if someday I'd be walking down the street in Biddeford and run into Jason Statham, and I would say, Mr. Statham, I would love to come back to your apartment tonight, but my dad was right, you are very short, have a great day. And that's not how that would happen. But don't tell my dad. So we were talking, and he was like making fun of me, and he looked at me and he said, hey, I have a thought. And I said, go for it. And he said, so when people have sex, and I said, don't go for it, don't go for it. I don't want the thought anymore. And he said, no, listen. So I said, okay. And he said, when people have sex, what if, like, whoever the female was actually thinking about during the act is like what the baby came out like? And I was like, right? I was like, Dad, I look just like you. And he said, no, it's not my point. He said, what, but like with one night stands or like if people cheated, like what if you could like tell? And I was like, that's kind of interesting. And the conversation with my dad ended there, but the conversation in my brain did not. So like I was thinking about it and I was just sitting there meditating, and based on my father's theory and my last sexual encounter, the baby that I would birth would 100% come out looking like my leftover Chinese food. I got a one-track mind, and not even the grandest of dicks can take it out pork fried rice. That is who I am as a person, right? Thank you. It's very important to me. So that's fun. My dad, that was a great day. So what else? Oh, babies, right? So I had babies on the brain, not the fun way, not like how people are like, I want a baby because my body says so. I don't want them. I don't want them at all. But my friend and her boyfriend have been dating for 5 years, and I'm very close with both of them. And so marriage and like future comes up a lot when it comes to them. And we were talking the other day, and he mentioned she hit the jackpot of tall men. He is 6'7", and which is cool. Which like everyone wants that, not everyone, but people want tall guys. She found a tall guy. It's really awesome. I always thought there wasn't really much downfall to that, except we found out he casually dropped the bomb that when he was born, he was 25 inches long. That's 2'1", like fresh out the womb. I picked up a tape measure that literally is from here to like here, from like actively, and that's just how he was born. And he was just talking about it, and I was looking at her from behind him, and I was like, yeah, you gotta break up. You really gotta. She's gonna birth Slender Man. It's just, I don't know. I'm not particularly sure her body has the capacity for that. I just imagine like a doctor, like his mom going to the doctors and like the doctor being like, all right, get ready, it's gonna happen, and then just like bending down and just being like, it's a boy. Like 20 minutes later, or like he just goes down, he looks at it, he's like, all right, puts on a clown nose, just whips out ribbon on ribbon on ribbon on ribbon, and turns into like an infant baby. And by that I mean like a small human, because 2'1", fresh out the womb is not acceptable, and that's my stance on babies for tonight. Thank you. All right. Oh, I have a fun story for you guys actually. Do you like weed? Do you guys like to smoke weed? Yes. Yeah, she like stopped her. She stopped her momentum to yell about that. I also like to smoke weed. So I got bored of doing that here and decided to travel the world to do it elsewhere. So I went to Amsterdam with my friend who has a very tall boyfriend. And we stopped at a couple other countries on the way. It was fun. But like I was really excited for Amsterdam. I had been talking about it for a long time. I called it Samsterdam. I was going to take the city. It was going to be mine. And actually what happened was someone took all of my things that I needed to travel. I got robbed while I was on my way, which was really scary, but like it wasn't like confrontational. We got robbed on like a sleeper train. And we still had our ticket and a campsite booked in Amsterdam. So we were like, fuck it, we're going to go. So we went there anyway and like tried to talk to our family, went to the embassy like 6 or 7 times, and after some finagling and working with the campground we were staying at, we managed to get our family to like transfer us money through the campground, which was awesome, because then we promptly went and found the seediest coffee shop in Amsterdam that would sell us weed without IDing us. And it was salvation. It was like the last day we were there. It was really awesome. We got to smoke weed. It wasn't all for nothing. So we went to the embassy the next day to get on our flight to go home. And we had all of our bags. We had our big backpacks and like other bags full of like garbage basically. And we went in there and the guy was like, all right, let me check your stuff. You're going to go back, sign a paper, get your passport, get out of my country. And I was like, duly noted. So we did that, and my friend was in front of me. She was walking through like the checkout thing. They were looking through her bags. And the security guard man, who we'd been working with for like 4 days, looked my friend in the face and he said, do you have drugs on you? And she said, no. And she said, you can check my bags. And she threw everything she had, and she's emptying her pockets, she's doing all this stuff. And she looked at me, she was like, I don't know what's happening. She didn't have drugs, because I did. I had them, and they were very potent, which I didn't realize. They were smelling through my jacket. I had like roaches in my cigarette pack, which I completely forgot about because I'm an idiot. So they were wafting into this man's face, and I didn't know what to do. And I looked at my friend, and I said, I have drugs. I have the drugs. What do I do with the drugs? And she said, you're an idiot. We're in Amsterdam. Just give them to the guy. And I was like, I'll swallow them. She said, just give them to the guy. So I said, fine. And I said, sir, I have these roaches. And he was like, what the fuck? And I said, no, I have these tiny, I have the marijuana. Take the marijuana. It's mine. Take it. And he looked at me, and he said, what time's your flight? And I said, 2 p.m. And he said, I don't know if you're going to make that. Go outside. That wasn't good. That wasn't what I wanted to happen at all. So my friend, just to paint the picture, I had not used conditioner in like 6 weeks. My friend had just cut off her hair. She shaved her head bald to donate it to children with cancer. So we looked like a couple of dirty, sad lesbians on the wall of the Amsterdam embassy for like 40 minutes. We sat there, and I was like, I am going to get locked up abroad. I'm going to live here with no money. I don't know what to do. My family's going to hate me. I'm freaking out. And the guy comes out, and he sticks his head out, and he says, ladies? And we were like, yeah. And he said, come on back in. So we walk back in, and he leads us to the back of the place where we signed a piece of paper, and he handed us our passports, and he said, have a safe flight. And I walked halfway out of the building, where I turned around and said, did you just fucking put me in timeout? Because he did. That's what he did. He talked to me in a dad voice. He told me to go outside. I sat on a wall. I thought about what I'd done for a very long time. Thought about it hard. And then he said, have a great day. And I was not, I can't get mad. I think he probably could have done more mean things than put me in timeout, but I thought that was a little bit rude. I was already going through a very stressful time in my life. So that's how that happened. What's going on here? Cool. Alright, so my work. Here's what I'm going to leave you with. I worked at a pharmacy, I quit because I didn't want to kill myself, and now I work at a call center where I contemplate killing myself all the time. But it's wild, right? Good. We'll talk later. Here's a fun. So actually, you'll appreciate this more than anyone. So I work in a call center that caters to retired Americans who want to travel. So I just talk to like rich old people who are mean or really really sweet. There's not really any in between. And during those calls, there's a series of things that I need to confirm. On every single phone call, I have to confirm what trip they're going on. I have to confirm their phone number. I have to confirm their email address. When I confirm their email address, it's always like their kid's initials or something stupid or I can't read it. So I spell it out like 99% of the time. And this one lady called in, and I'm looking over her profile, and I was like, oh, I got this. It's an easy one. I can do it. So I said, thank you so much for calling Traveler Support. My name is Samantha. Ms. Johnson, I would like to take just a quick second to confirm that the email on file is, in fact, chicagobell8 at AOL.com. And she was like, yeah, it's Chicago. So it was I thought it was the funniest thing that's ever happened to me, and she did not. And that was like minute 1 of a 45-minute phone call. So that's what I'm going back to tomorrow. But thank you for having me in Maine. My name's Sami. Have a great night, guys.
Sammy. Are psilocybin mushrooms legal in Amsterdam?
Yeah, they have centers. They bring
I want some mushrooms. I'm not asking for mushrooms, but if you have mushrooms, come see me. That's my drug. I'd rather do that, honestly, than drink beer. You guys sit there puking all over yourselves. I'll just be lost within myself and mushrooms, fucking figuring out the universe and shit. Our next comic is very funny. Another one from Boston. Very funny. Please welcome Rob Creed.
Hi guys. So my name is Rob Crean. It's Crean, C-R-E-A-N. It's an Irish name. Derives from the Gaelic word crean, which means to take a long story and make it much longer. So I guess you could say just created my opening. Guys, my first name is an English word. It means to take without permission. It's Rob. How's everyone doing? You guys doing all right? Thanks so much for hanging out and watching the show. This is exciting. I'm excited to be in Maine. I'm from Boston, but my girlfriend is originally from Maine, so I come up here a lot. I enjoy Maine. My girlfriend's brother runs a hotel in Old Orchard Beach, so we go up to visit him a lot. We were driving up to visit him last Christmas, and as we were driving up, my girlfriend was texting with him. He was very stressed out because it had just started to snow, and someone had stolen his snowblower, which just feels like the most Maine crime imaginable, you know? Like, the only more Maine crime would be if, like, a moose stole your bean boots full of lobster. Like, that would be a really Maine crime. But another thing I want to say about Maine, our friend Matt Cohen was supposed to headline the show tonight, and he couldn't make it. So I'm going to tell one of his jokes, and then the next comic, John Paul Rivera, is going to tell one of his jokes. And if you like us, we didn't have our business cards with us, so we drew pictures of ourselves and our Twitter handles here, so those will be over here if you want to grab them on the way out. So this is the joke. This is actually kind of a sad news story that happened here in the state of Maine. A few years ago, I don't know if you guys heard about this, a woman in rural Maine, she committed suicide by overdosing on helium. Her last words were much funnier than they would have been otherwise. That's Matt Cohen. So tweet at Matt Cohen if you make that joke. So semen coming out of your penis feels really good. Urine coming out of your penis feels pretty good. So what's your problem, blood? I feel like you guys like dirty comedy, but not necessarily gross. Is that too gross? Not dirty. Fair enough. So I am from Boston. I also am a tour guide. I'm a tour guide in downtown Boston. I do walking tours of the Freedom Trail. So if you ever go to Boston, one of those guys you see in downtown Boston dressed up as a colonial person, which is a lot of fun. But being in downtown Boston dressed up as a colonial person, you get a lot of people heckling you, shouting stuff at you. And usually it's just like the names of historic figures. They'll shout out stuff like "Hey, Sam Adams" or Ben Franklin or Paul Revere, stuff like that. And I don't care for that. I mean, seriously, come on, Samuel Adams. That is a guy who is too ugly to be in his own bottle of beer. I don't think I'd look like Samuel Adams, Ben Franklin had scraggly long hair and glasses. I don't think I look like Benjamin Franklin. Paul Revere was a short, stocky man, and that one's rude is why I don't like that one. I definitely most is Paul Revere. The other day a cop called me Paul Revere, a cop, which I found outlandish. Because he was also wearing a costume. I don't think it's fair for him to call me the name of someone that just dresses like me, I mean, how would he like it if I called him Carl Winslow? I don't think he'd like it. You guys don't know Carl Winslow. He was the dad on Family Matters. Also the cop in the first two Die Hard movies. Yeah, and Ghostbusters too. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's the same character, same actor. I like to think it's the same character, though. I think it gives every conversation between Carl and Urkel an extra level of gravity when somewhere in the back of his mind he's thinking, yeah, I shot a kid. I don't know. You guys can finish that one on your own. I do that. I don't know. But I do these stories. I have to talk real loud. I have to really project. It does a bit of a wear on my throat, so I have to do things to care for my voice. The other day I was on my way to do one of these walking tours. I went into a coffee shop and I got a tea for my voice. A large tea. It was $1.90, which meant with tax it came to $2.03, which I found so frustrating. Because now I got to carry around 97 cents of change in my colonial costume. Why couldn't they just make the tea $1.87 and with tax it would be exactly $2? Plus, my whole life in Massachusetts, the state sales tax had been 5%, but it was recently increased from 5 to 6.25. And if it were still at 5% at $1.90, that would come up to exactly $2. Then I realized that I was a guy in a colonial costume in Boston complaining about the tax on tea. That's been How's everyone? You guys doing all right? Is everyone doing okay? I feel like folks in the back, if you feel like moving forward, I think I'm pretty funny, but the guy that's coming up after me is very funny. You're gonna really want to be close to him. Also, he's very handsome, so it's just good to get close to a handsome man. That's my catchphrase. Good to get close to a handsome man. All right. I've got more jokes. I'll take a one any minute now. So I like t-shirts. You guys like t-shirts? Yeah. I was at a fair in Massachusetts earlier this year in Western Mass, and they had a place that was selling t-shirts, and one of the t-shirts just had a Confederate flag on it, which I think is real weird in Massachusetts. It's weird to have a Confederate flag in the North. But then right next to it there was another shirt that had like a NASCAR style race car on it, and then in big friendly letters it said number one race fan. You know, I thought that was cool. You know, that they had shirts for people who liked races, and also for people who did not like races. Yeah. You guys know what's with the Confederate flag. But I saw a kid walking down the street wearing a t-shirt that I thought was very cool. This kid was walking down the street, he was wearing a t-shirt. On the front, it said, "It's not bragging." And then on the back, it said, "If you can back it up!" That's how I read it. It had a lot of exclamation points. I think that's how it was supposed to be read. But he had a shirt that said, "It's not bragging if you can back it up. It's not bragging if you can back it up." That is the only time it's bragging. If you can't back it up, that's lying. It's a completely different thing. Do you guys want to hear about my favorite t-shirt that I own? This is... Yeah. Well, first, let me tell you about me and your last comic coming up, John Paul. We have an idea for a t-shirt that I think is pretty cool. Do you guys like sports? I don't really know a lot about sports. I'll be honest with you guys. You know, I know that there's 3 sports teams in Boston. Obviously, the Patriots a little bit further south than Foxborough, and I know that all the teams have rivals. I know that for the Red Sox, it's the Yankees. For the Celtics, it's the LA Lakers. For the Bruins, it's the Montreal Canadiens, and for the Patriots, it's the NFL. I don't know a lot about sports. I don't know a lot, but I know this. I know that whenever you know, like when they at the end of the sports semester, when they play the final squads go and play their last match, meet up or whatever. I know when that happens, they'll make T-shirts for either outcome. You know, so say for example, like I don't know, like the Pittsburgh Penguins are playing Manchester United. You know, they'll make like a T-shirt for either outcome. You know, and so the T-shirt that me and John Paul want to make is a shirt that has a Celtics logo and a Lakers logo, and then in big letters it'll say, "It's a tie! 2004 co-champions! This is bullshit!" Because I know so little about sports. If I saw someone wearing that shirt, I would be like, "Wait a minute, was there a year that the NBA Finals was a tie?" Like, I feel like I would have heard about that. It's a shirt. It must have happened. I saw a guy in Boston. You know, in Boston there's a lot of anti-Yankee shirts. I saw a guy in Boston one time just wearing a shirt that just in huge letters just said, "Jeter has AIDS." It's just a commitment to ignorance is what that shirt is. Very strange. But this is my favorite shirt.
Come in!
That's right. No, I'm doing stand-up comedy on a not a stage, really, but it's a piece of floor. He left the room midway through my answer, so I feel kind of foolish for continuing. I just felt it would be rude to stop mid-sentence. But do you guys want to hear about my favorite T-shirt that I own? This is my favorite shirt. I have a shirt that's first of all, I like what it says. What it says is it says "Best Lover on Earth," which is a lot of fun because whenever I wear it, people will compliment me on it, and I get to do this. So can you guys just pretend I'm wearing my Best Lover on Earth shirt? Can someone just say, "Hey, nice shirt"?
Hey, nice shirt.
Oh, it's silly. I won this dumb contest. You know, I get to do that, which is a lot of fun. And also, it's from a series of shirts that said a bunch of different things, like Best Grandma on Earth, Best Grandpa on Earth. And when they made the Best Lover on Earth shirt, they did not change the font. You know, so it's a font that makes a lot of sense for those other shirts, but not for Best Lover on Earth, because it's written in like a childlike scrawl. You know, yeah, like it looks like it should be pronounced. Looks like it should be pronounced Best Lover on Earth. It's gross. Me and John Paul, who's the last comic, drove up here, which is a lot of fun. I like when I get the chance to travel around and do comedy. One time, me and some of my comedy pals, we decided to go do some stand-up comedy shows at a dubstep festival in upstate New York. So we got what we deserved for that choice. That was a choice. Not great. It wasn't even just a dubstep. It was a dubstep / jam band festival. Now I don't know if you guys are familiar with these genres of music. If you're not, dubstep is like, you know, it's like modern electronic dance music. You guys remember dial-up modems? It's like that. And jam bands is, you know, just smelly white guys playing songs for too long. Not a lot of overlap in the the fans of those two genres of music. But where that Venn diagram does intersect, people were just there for the drugs. So not a great audience for comedy. They did not enjoy the subtlety of my semen blood joke, but we made the best of it. We still had a fun time. We got to stay in a hotel, which is like ice machines. I don't know. We had a good time. We still had fun. When we first got to the hotel, I was staying in one room with my friend Gary, and then our other comic pals were staying in another room. And when we first got to the hotel, we were walking to our room, and we passed a phone in the hallway. So Gary picks up the phone. He dials in our friend's room number, and then he just hands the phone to me. So now I have the phone. It's ringing to our friend's room. I have to think on my feet. And so when my friend answered, I did what I think probably any of you guys would do in that situation, which was, I just pretended to be a baby. So they answered, "Hello?" And I said, "Hello?" Who is this? So we just kept doing that all weekend. Every time we would pass the phone, we would call our friends. And here's the thing, our friends were such good sports about it. They really were. Whenever we would meet up with them, they wouldn't be like, "Hey, cut it out." Instead, they would say, "Hey, has a baby been calling your room and self-identifying as a baby?" And we would say no until they did start calling our room pretending to be a baby. But their baby voice was not as good as ours, as mine. Their baby voice was just like this. It was just like, "I'm a baby," which that was a dead giveaway, because that was just their impression of me complaining about lack of vegan food in the car. So I'm a vegan, which I'll mention briefly. I don't talk about being vegan very much, but I do like to mention it. I like to mention it because I think a lot of people have misconceptions about what vegans are like, and so I like to let people know that some of us are fat. Probably some of you guys are looking at me thinking, "Oh, he's not that fat." Probably. Probably some of you guys are looking at me thinking, "Yeah, he's pretty fat." Here's the thing. I actually suffer from a condition known as body dysmorphia. I hope. Otherwise, this is real. I'll do one more joke and get out of here, folks. So, do you guys know what they call it when two roosters fight? Cockfighting. Now, do you guys know what they call it when two gentlemen fight with their cocks? They call that sword fighting. Now, do you guys know what they call it when two people fight with swords? Fencing. So why is it the only term they have for when people fight with pieces of fence is reasonable cause for eviction? Thanks a lot, guys. I'm Rob Green. Have a great night.
Everybody give it up. Now, if you're totally not turned off by the comedy here, B-Rad, we're coming back June 1st. The headliner will be Miguel Perez from Boston, and the
Oh damn.
oh damn.
Oh damn.
Oh, is he good?
Hell
Is he
yeah.
good? Yeah. And the guest host will be Ian Stewart, and if you happen to see Ian Stewart, he looks kind of like me, so don't be like, "Dude, I saw you last time," because it's not the same person. So I'm going to bring up, without further ado, I'm going to bring up our headliner. He's very funny, also from Boston. Please welcome John Paul Rivera.
Oh, thank you guys.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Oh.
All right. Not a ton of energy in that round of applause, but it's been a while. It's totally understandable, Biddeford. Totally understandable. No, thanks everybody for coming out, for hanging out, having a good time. It's great to be here up in Maine. I always like coming up here, having a good time, telling some jokes. Any scientists here in the Cowbell Burger Bar? We got any scientists in the house? No scientists hang out here? That's good. Let me tell you, that's good. Because let me tell you, I don't like scientists. This windscreen is huge on this microphone. It feels like I'm eating out somebody with my BMI right now. I don't like scientists. I don't like them. Scientists ruin my good time with their studies and their facts. Let me give you an example. Last year, scientists did a study. They found out that hot dogs cause the same amount of cancer as cigarettes. That's what they found out. And that was pretty unsettling news for a guy like me. I don't know if you guys can tell by my look, but I pretty much eat and smoke a pack of each per day. That's not good news. It wasn't a total surprise though. I grabbed the nearest pack of hot dogs off my nightstand. I was checking it out. If you guys didn't notice, the active ingredient in hot dogs is cigarettes, guys. It's just random Marlboros in there. And I eat them like they're going to be illegal tomorrow. That's not all. Those scientists did another study, these fucking bastards. They did another study last year. They found out that when you get a bird drunk, this is what scientists are spending your money on, guys. They found out that when you get birds drunk, their tweets, their song will be slurred just like a human being's speech is when they get drunk. That's obviously not the only thing they found out. They also found out that just like a person, the older a bird is when you get drunk, the more casual that bird becomes with its dinner table racism. That's what we're doing now. All of a sudden, this bird's got a lot of opinions on which bird should be flying with other birds. All right. Okay, yeah. It's great to be here. I live in South Boston, which is a neighborhood that used to be known for being like a real tough neighborhood, you know? Now it's not really known for being a tough neighborhood at all. What I do like about it, though, is that there's a lot of old-timey stuff in South Boston, you know? Like, my barber, the barber that I go to every 2 years, that barber's been there for, like, a long time, over 2 or 3 decades. You hear a lot of old-timey wisdom living in a neighborhood like that. Like old sayings. I love old sayings because old sayings teach you something in a nice little phrase. Like the old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, teaches you if you eat healthy, you'll be healthy. There's the old saying, early bird gets the worm. That teaches you if you get up early, you'll have a head start, you'll be a success. Then there's the famous old saying, don't shit where you eat, which teaches you that some people need very specific instructions to get through their day. I'm going to tell them. Oh crap, I'm embarrassing, I guess. I love old sayings. I love old sayings so much that I actually looked into the origins of some old sayings. Like, you guys know what they say to do, right? When you fall off a horse, they say, get back on the horse, right? Somebody said it even as they left because they were a scientist and they were offended by what I said. I know a scientist when I see one. Look, she's running! Alright. They say when you fall off the horse to get back on the horse. That's an old saying that was started by a guy in the 1800s. His name was Richard Jones. He was a pioneer rancher. And he was a guy who hated people. He hated to see people give up on their dreams. The only thing he hated to see more was a horse running wild and free. So he would be like, get back on that horse. Somebody bend that animal to the human's will, and then we'll eat it. Because times are difficult back now when I'm alive. That's what I'm talking about. I did mention before I smoke cigarettes, I eat hot dogs, so I'll probably be dead before I'm finished with this set. It's very bad for me. I'm trying to quit quit cigarettes. I'm trying to quit cigarettes. How am I trying to do it? Vaping. And I'm one of those pieces of shit. I'm like, you know what's bad for you? Tobacco. What should I smoke instead? Electricity. That ought to do. That'll fix the problem. We all know, right, that smoking cigarettes is bad for you. Welcome, gang. Welcome, gang. I called you scientists. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. We all know cigarettes are bad for us, right? We all know that now. But cigarettes can be bad for you, not just health-wise, but socially, too. Sometimes I'll be outside of a fun-time burger bar in the state of Maine smoking a cigarette. And some of you non-smokers, you might have seen this. Some of you guys might have done this. Someone will pass through my secondhand smoke. They'll do this really loud, conspicuous hacking cough to let me know how much of fucked up their day by existing. Someone passes through my secondhand smoke, they just cough That always bothers me. Especially when babies and infants do that. It's like, I get it, baby. You're a health nut. Not all of us are on our way to yoga class, baby. Go donate to Bernie Sanders, baby. That's what I'm saying. All right. Just killing time. Going to the Irish MMA gym right down the street after this. I'm going to learn how to spit friggin' Guinness in people's face to fight. I guess that's what they teach me to do there, I think. I do smoke cigarettes. I'm a dumb guy. Any other dumb people in the Cowbell and the Burger Bar tonight? Any dumb people? Hell yeah! Bam! It's gonna take a while for that to hurt. That's how dumb I am. It takes a while for the information to get to my brain. I'm gonna die. I'm so dumb. I started smoking cigarettes when I was 24 years old. It's a real dumb thing to do, you know. I didn't start smoking cigarettes because I saw my parents do it or because of targeted advertising. I started smoking cigarettes because I was jealous of my coworkers' breaks at CVS Pharmacy. That's why I started killing myself slowly. I was like, these assholes get to stop working whenever they want, take 10-minute breaks to Flavortown? Forget it. Sign me up. I am a dumb guy. I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a guy whose blood comes out of his penis sometimes. You guys get a hint as to who it is. He's got wicked cool t-shirts and a bloody cock. Talking to this guy. I was asking Rob, how old were you when you started smoking? You know what he told me? He told me he was 11 years old when he started smoking. That's true, right? Yeah. And I'm such a moron that I was like, wow, that is so cool and badass that you're smoking at 11. That's awesome, dude. Rob's a smart guy. He's trying to show me that it's not cool or badass to smoke cigarettes at 11. But what he said just made him sound even more cool and badass. Because he goes, no, I wasn't a cool badass smoking at 11. I was just looking for something to do with my hands. When I was drinking, I was like, yeah! You can't be finger fucking hookers the whole party at 11, right? You gotta take a time out and have a smoke. What, you hang out with the Rat Pack all night? How is Dino? I am a dumb guy, so I went to college online. Give it up for me, online. I'm just kidding, guys. That's just what I call it when I watch documentaries when I fold clothes. I call that throwing the clothes online. I was watching a documentary by probably the most famous documentarian ever, Ken Burns, right? He made the documentaries on Civil War, on baseball. One of the last documentaries he made, it was called National Parks, America's Best Idea. Which sounds like a totally fine title until you really sit down and think about all the implications that title has. I like national parks, but they're really the best idea in American history, you know? He came out with another documentary, Ending Slavery, a distant second. I like national parks. I just think all Americans should be free, man. Throwing Ken Burns under the bus is a racist for no reason, guys. Doing it for hot dog money. They don't buy themselves, let me tell you. not homophobic. Give it up for me. Thank you. I am a hero. Any homophobes in the bar tonight? I'm looking to get laid. All right. Homophobia, even the term homophobia is like weird to me, you know? Homophobia, it's like a strong fear of something, you know? It's like, homophobia is like, that's like the only phobia out there that manifests in that particular way homophobia does. Like, you never hear or see a guy on a reality show who has like a really bad case of arachnophobia where he's like, let me tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go down to the spider part of town. Go to the spider bar. And I'm gonna start hanging out with the spiders. Until the spiders start thinking, I'm a spider. And then I'm going to go out with one of the spiders, go out to my pickup truck, and I'm going to punch the spider right in the face because I am not a spider! You never see that, right? That's the only guy whose arachnophobia is kind of like homophobia is ironically like Spider-Man's boss, you know, J. Jonah Jameson. But if you're gonna flip it around, it would still kind of work because he'd be like, Parker, these gays are a menace. But I need pictures, Parker. Pictures of the gays. All right. Nice middling time with that one, right? I'm fucking loving it. Oh, Cowbell Burger Bar, you're making me feel so good. Gets nice and quiet when you sing. I like that. Maybe I should become a singer because generating quiet seems to be one of my skills when I get up here. I don't know if you guys notice. It's one of the things I'm fucking best at. I'm trying to drink a little bit less in 2017. Does anyone else have like a resolution to drink a little bit less? All right, just me and Rob. We go pretty hard. Drink a little bit less in 2017. I love to drink myself. My favorite thing to drink, I like to drink vodka. That's my favorite thing to drink. People hear that about me, they hear like vodka, like, oh, you must like that Grey Goose. I'm like, it's a lot more like filthy gutter pigeon, actually. The booze that I drink is so cheap, oftentimes on the label it'll say bottled and distilled. Right behind you. A dirty bathtub. Tell you what, so what about you can drink in Boston? I don't know if you guys have this up here or maybe in Portland. You guys ever see the party bus or the party trolley? You guys know that action? You get on like a bus or a trolley, you drink some booze, you drive around, you scream woo at anybody unlucky enough to be on the streets while you're driving for some reason. You're driving around, you're like, woo! I'm like, I'm just trying to return some library books. What this is all about. I thought this sounded like a great idea because I love to drink. I love to be in motion. So I call up the party bus. I'm like, how much does this cost to get the party bus from my door, right? They quoted me a number. It was incredibly expensive. I was like, listen, party bus. I am no spring chicken. I'm not an idiot, all right? I know how much it costs to get drunk on the bus. I do it all the time. 4 nips and an empty stomach and you are the party bus. I'm the reason you're not allowed to talk to the driver. That's me. That is me. Oh, gosh. Trying to drink less this year. Also, trying to save some money in the new year, right? Because it's Trump's America. Got to save that money. I might need to eat that money later, depending on how things go. So I want to save that money. One way I've been trying to save money, I've been trying to buy stuff off of Craigslist, which is a way you can save money, right? If you want to also risk your life while you try to save $9 on a used car seat, right? It's dangerous buying stuff off Craigslist, right? What's everyone's number one fear if you're making a Craigslist transaction? Murder. All right, that's a common one. Murder is a big fear. Usually I get murder and bed bugs. It's like right neck and neck. Murder and bed bugs. Which one is worse? Depends how expensive was your sofa. That's really the answer there. Murder and bed bugs. You feel like a psycho if you try to buy stuff off Craigslist because you're calling a stranger trying to buy their garbage. And sometimes you gotta call them back because the people on Craigslist aren't super reliable. You feel like a psychopath because you're like, yeah, hey, this is John Paul. This is the 4th time I've called. If you could please call me back. I'm just wondering if you're still selling that TV tray with the pot leaf on it. Thank you very much. Click. Right? Even if you cut, it's crazy. I mean, if you're gonna get murdered on Craigslist, you want to get murdered trying to fuck something, right? Not trying to buy something. That's way better. That's why whenever I go to buy something, I put a little piece of paper in my jacket pocket that says, I am a prostitute. So there's no questions in case things go south. Right? It would be very embarrassing to get murdered trying to buy something off Craigslist, you know? You're strapped down to some table in some psychopath's basement dungeon. You're strapped down. He's like pushing a knife into your stomach, and you're like, oh, God! Oh, I should have just paid full price for a GPS. Oh, I just love a deal. Oh, this wasn't worth it. People have, like, no concept of the value of the stuff they sell either, you know? Someone would be selling like a tent. Like, I bought this tent 10 years ago for $100. Now it's a decade old. My cats have been pissing all over it. It's missing some key pieces, and there's a hole right in the roof, so rain just pours right in. I bought it for $100 10 years ago. I'll sell it to you for $87. $87 firm. And, don't try to haggle with me because I have the time to sell my stuff on Craigslist. I've got nothing to do all day. So don't try it, folks. Craigslist. Hell yeah. That is delicious water. You guys have a great night? Hell yeah. Now, this is a big thing down in Boston. A lot of people are trying to quote-unquote stay woke, right? They're trying to be aware of racial issues in this country, trying to be aware of what goes down. Myself, I don't know if I am or not, but, you know, I don't blame people too much if they're not quote-unquote woke right away or whatever. Because things are changing really fast, right? With the internet and stuff. Like, even like, say the concept of when people talk about like white supremacy. Like, people are like really up on that right now, you know? Because the media, the news media, the movies, TV, everything portrayed a white supremacist as one thing for a really long time. There was a guy who looked kind of like B-Rad, not exactly, but a little bit, between 20 and 50, you know, wore a white hood or black boots, and at the end of the movie, he either died with the prison or saw the error of his ways. And sometimes it could be all three in the same movie if it was good enough. Right? But then they come up with all this new sort of lingo where white supremacy isn't just like one guy, it's this like concept that people take part in every day. Sometimes without even realizing that they're doing it. You know, and I don't get it. I don't like, you know, really blame people if they don't get on board with that right away, because that's a pretty big jump from guy with boots, you know? It's a huge difference. That'd be like if tomorrow you woke up, you check your phone out, and you're looking at the news, and it turns out what you thought were giraffes your entire life weren't giraffes at all. And then as it turns out, you're a fucking giraffe. And almost everything you've done has been holding down the smaller necked animals. You had no fucking clue. When I was coming up here, I was like, I wonder if it would be cool if I swear while I'm here. And it turns out, yes, it is. Yeah, I really long time.
You're good right now.
Oh, okay, cool. I just saw saw you like hovering and staring at me, I thought we were low on time, or you might jump over the table and try to kill me.
No, I'll probably break the table.
No, I don't believe that. You're a very spry man, B-Rad. I've seen it. I'm a single guy on the single scene, right? Like so many people are. Trying to put pieces of myself into pieces of other people, the human condition I call it, right? Hell yeah, nice. For myself, I find sex to be a lot like a chess game. For me, sex is like a game of chess. In that after the first few moves, I am completely overwhelmed and wish we hadn't started playing at all. I remember how much I hate chess. How sweaty it makes me. How weirded out I was when my father tried to teach me the game. Gross. I was trying to play chess with a young lady recently at a different competing burger bar. I don't want to say the name of it, because I don't want to enrage anybody. I was talking to this one young lady. I was like, oh, I'm trying to date this girl. It's not going that well. She goes, I can't date you because I only date guys who are taller than me. I was like, I don't know if you know this, miss, but I am taller than you. She goes, no, you don't understand. I only date guys who are taller than me when I'm wearing high heels. That was the caveat. I didn't think it was like all that fair, you know? Like, not only do I have to be taller than this young lady, I gotta be taller than her when she has like this bizarre, artificial, heel still tight handicap on me. Like I still gotta overcome that. You know, I'm not doing stuff like that. You never see me out there in the dating scene being just like, yeah, I just need a broad in my life with titties that are bigger than my hands. When I'm wearing a catcher's mitt. I just like to wear a catcher's mitt when I go out, alright? It makes me feel elegant. If people see me out without my catcher's mitt on, they're going to think something's wrong with you. People see me and they think they can nail me down. They see me, they're like, oh, I know what that guy likes to do, folks. He likes to combine food and sex. He probably spends all his sexual free time eating hot dogs out of people's butts or whatever. That's not what I'm into. I don't like it. I think combining food and sex is unsanitary. I think it's gross. I think it's not a turn-on. But I have done it a bunch of times. You gotta find out what you don't like, right? What does everybody try the first time they try to combine food and sex? What's the rookie move? You guys know what it is? That's exactly. Oh yeah, whipped cream. I was gonna give you like a big star for getting it, Rob, but like Rob's heard this joke dozens of times. So you cheated on the test. Take that man away and clean up his penis. Tried the old whipped cream gag and it did not go that well. Maybe because it kept calling it the old whipped cream gag, not the sexiest thing to call it, I guess. I was going down on this girl with whipped cream, right? The old trick. She goes, oh, does that make me taste delicious? And I was like, it tastes like your pussy with whipped cream on it. Let's see if I can break this down. It'd be like a tub of Cool Whip that I'd return immediately. Sort of give me an idea. Like, you gotta talk to that dairy girl. She is a pip, let me tell you. I'm not the kind of guy who owns a sex toy, you know? I know I might look like the kind of guy who owns a sex toy, right? Not super acceptable for, I think, a guy to own a sex toy, you know? For ladies, I think it's a little bit more accepting. Like some ladies, they have, you guys ever heard of Athena parties? You guys ever heard of that? Yeah, it's like ladies get together, they bring some sex toys over to one lady's apartment, then they use like crushing social pressure of friendship to try to get people to buy overpriced vibrators. They don't have Athena parties for men, because those would not be cutesy or fun. It would just be a group of men silently and grossly fucking sex toys in the living room. It would not be hot at all. People are weirded out when a guy's a sex toy, right? They're like, you have a sex toy as a man? That's bizarre. Why don't you just use some of the dead women, I'm sure, scattered around your house? Were they too decomposed for you? I thought that's what you're into, you freak. When you have a sex toy that's designed for a lady, you can actually bring that into your existing sexual relationship to spice things up, right? Have a little fun with it. Not so much with the sex toy that's designed for the man. You can't go up to your friendly lady friend and be like, hey baby, I got a sweet idea to spice things up. Here's what's going to go down. We'll make out, I'll get y'all hot and bothered, and right when we're at the peak of our ecstasy, I'm going to stop fucking you for a while and spend some time fucking this silicone tube. How does that sound? It's just a mic stand. But I'm a great actor, so I can see why it even smells different than when I picked it up. That's how good I am. I used to date a lady with a sex toy. I thought that was totally fine. But she spent over $198 on this thing. And it had every feature imaginable. It had variable sliding intensities, rotating beads. It had a laser sight, night vision. It would actually connect to her Wi-Fi. And it would like her pictures on Facebook to make her feel good emotionally. I would see it all the time. Clint Blaster likes this. I go, wow, that's old Clint there. That's old Clint. Let's tell you guys two more things I'll get out of here. I used to love to play with action figures when I was younger. By younger, I mean until very, very recently. I love to play with action figures. I had so much fun creating these fun games, these fun stories, I played with action figures for so long that I could drive to the store to buy my action figures in my rented car. That's how long I was playing with action figures. A long time. I never had the money to get the nice pristine set. I always had to put stuff together and one good Wolverine. I'd have a Cyclops who was missing a leg and I would make up a horrible story about how he lost it. Some fucked up thing where he stepped on a landmine and now he's got PTSD. I'd swipe my sister's most masculine Ken doll. They'd all pile into my sister's Barbie convertible, which could fly, and they'd go off to fight Baron Von VCR remote. Those Castle Car and Driver magazines. I would play with action figures for hours. When I was younger, I was always very specific about my action figures because I thought I could be construed as feminine, right? So I wanted to call them action figures, when in reality, I was locking myself in my room for hours playing with muscle balls. I was like, listen, these are action figures, they're not dolls. I don't play with dolls. Unless they're jacked to shit. And then, I make them kiss each other and all kinds of crazy shit. Oh, Wolverine, you didn't know Magneto was going to do this to you. And you don't know if you like it. The consent is dubious. I'll say one more thing, guys. When I was a lot younger in high school, I was kind of not a popular kid. This was before I started pretending mic stands were fucking fake vaginas. Before I found my true calling, Biddeford. My parents, they used to drop me off at school hours before my first class because we could not afford for me to take the school bus. Because in California, you got to pay extra to take the school bus. While I was at school, I would kill the time. I would kill the time to go to the library, and I would read a magazine called Popular Mechanics Magazine. That's how I would kill the time. Because they had no magazine called Fat Unpopular Students. So they do. Now, Popular Mechanics Magazine, they used to have ads in the back. I don't know if you guys remember this, but they had ads in the back for designs. You could send away for these designs, and then you could build and presumably fly your own personal helicopter. And when I was about 14 years old, this was all I wanted to do with my entire life, was build and fly my own personal helicopter. This was sort of like the hubris of youth, right? I thought I could build and fly my own helicopter when I was 14 years old. I can't even build deal with my own omelet at a restaurant tonight. If I pulled it up, if I built and flew my own helicopter, that'd be so amazing. It would be on the cover of Popular Mechanics magazine, you know? Fat Mexican boy makes good. It's like, oh, here's a helicopter back here. A lot of duct tape on this helicopter. That's the design. That's the design. The saddest part about my helicopter power fantasy, which is what it was that in my head, in my 14-year-old head, I was like, I am going to get so much pussy if I have a helicopter. That's what I thought, you know? I can even picture it. Go to pick up my crush, Cindy, for the prom. And of course, who's already there? My rival, Brad. Brad's got everything I could never have. He's got a maroon Camaro, a leather jacket, an average BMI, everything that I could never, ever attain. And you think she's going to go with him, but then you just hear me coming. Sandy! Sandy! I built this for us! I will show you a world! No! Shit! No! Made the rotors out of hot dogs! Oh, and I made you guys fall in love. Hey, Biddeford, I want to really thank you guys for coming out to the show tonight and watch me. It's been an awesome time hanging with everybody here. It's been a great time. We'll get back to Mike. Let's get back to us, Mike Ray, everybody. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for coming out. Great job. And here for John Paul Rivera, everybody. That's our show. We're back June 1st. Miguel Perez and Ian Stewart. That's our show. Have a